right, good morning, South Central Montana. It's 6 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor, in the house. And Shane Mataman on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. And you're on the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. It's Monday, May 6th, 2019, 38 degrees outside. And Shane, for the first time in a long time, we missed both Star Trek Day or Star Wars Day and Cinco de Mayo. It was on this weekend, and we missed both of them. We missed both of them. So it's been a while since that's happened to us.
Yeah, we're in full recovery from celebrating. Can't you tell?
That's right. Yeah. It was... Oh, well, I don't know. It's really funny that we celebrate Cinco de Mayo way more than they do in Mexico. They've got a bunch of other. They got a bunch of other holidays. I don't know. This day is kind of like Arbor Day in Mexico. I think it's kind of. Well, maybe we'll plant a tree. No, that's too much work. Let's go watch TV.
That's right. Well, that's because all the expensive tequilas in the United States.
Well, that's true. Yeah, we have all the good stuff. They got more of it coming out too. I keep seeing ads for more and more kinds of tequila coming out. So. That must be the drink of choice of the millennials, I guess. Huh?
I think so. Yeah. Well, gin makes you sin, and vodka does you no good. So
okay, there you are. I guess tequila's all you got left, huh?
That's it, baby.
All right. Well, let's take a quick look at our valley forecast, our Gallatin Valley forecast in Park County and all over the place. We're looking for a high of 59 degrees today, 34 the overnight low. It's going to be partly cloudy, no rain in the forecast. Tomorrow, 56 and an overnight low of 37, partly cloudy. Again, very little rain predicted. And Wednesday, 54 degrees, partly cloudy, a little bit of rain. Showers will be around the area, so be aware of that. Mostly during the day, tapering off into the evening. 53 will be the high on Thursday, 31 the overnight low, mostly sunny, and the rain leaves us. And then Friday and Saturday, a beautiful weekend predicted. And unfortunately, it's only Monday.
Well, I can assure you warm weather's coming. It's 70 degrees yesterday here and heading south towards you all week long.
Yep.
We're forecasted for clear skies and temperatures in the 70s. So.
Yep. Well,
you're going to warm up. You're going to dry out.
We absolutely are. On Saturday, it's going to be partly cloudy. 67 will be the high, 40 the overnight low, and then Sunday, 71 and 43 the overnight low, partly cloudy. Very little chance of any precip there. Monday, 71 and 43 overnight low again, and mostly sunny, and then 71 on Tuesday, 69 on Wednesday, with a little rain coming back in and some thunderstorms as the cold weather or the cold air meets the warm air gives us showers this time of year. Temperatures around the area right now: Livingston is 35 degrees, Manhattan is 39, Three Forks is 40, Gallatin Gateway is 36 degrees. Ennis is 36, Gardner is 38, Big Sky is 33, and at the airport in Belgrade, it is 39 degrees right now. And in our downtown studios, we're right on 38 degrees at 9 minutes after the hour. So we're doing all right.
You are, and we have to count ourselves lucky. The deluge in Iowa, 40 days underwater.
Well, I know, yeah. They are really having a hard time there in the Midwest, man, with all that flooding, and the rain keeps coming and can't get in the fields, and boy, it's going to be tough for those Midwestern farmers to make a go of it. They
got to wait for the water to clear, and then they need another week of dry weather for it to dry out before they can get to the fields.
Well, that's true, and then that's going to shorten the growing season as well. So they've got to rock and roll here, and I don't see a lot of relief in sight for them. But
I think they'll have to replant because I think their winter wheat's washed away.
Well, probably, yeah. If they're going to do anything like that, I'd agree with you. I think that's pretty much over. So. Well, on this day in history, of course, 1840, a tornado touched down in eastern Louisiana and crossed the Mississippi River into Natchez, Mississippi, killed 317 people. Wow, most of them were on boats in the river. That shows you the early warning system in 1840 wasn't all it was cracked up to be.
I don't even think they knew what it looked like in the sky to try and be okay. You know
Yeah, I
what
was
I
going
mean?
to say it just looked like a normal storm coming,
Yeah.
maybe, but yeah, man, wow, 317 people on boats on the river. That must be tough when you see that thing coming and there's not much you could do about it.
Well, yeah.
Even
Not
even jumping in the water would probably
well,
suck you up anyway. So I
nowhere
don't
to
know.
hide.
I
Yeah.
was going to say nowhere to hide, nowhere to run, man. That would be wow, man. That's a tragedy of quite a bit of magnitude there.
Yeah.
317 people dead. Wow. Well, in 1856, Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, was born in Freiburg, Moravia, present-day Pribor, Czech Republic. So,
Yes.
yeah, he was the guy that. Well, I don't know. A lot of his stuff has been kind of debunked, hasn't it?
To a large
Shane?
degree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think he was on the right track of talking to people and getting them to open up about their experiences and things like that. And I think he experimented with hypnosis and regression and all those things. And some of them have
Drugs.
yeah, drugs also. Yeah, you got to have plenty of drugs. So, but
Yeah. So yeah,
yeah.
he was born in Austria, in the Austrian Empire. May 6, 1856, died the 23rd of September, 1939, just as World War II was starting.
Mm-hmm.
He was granted medicine degree in 1881 at the University of Vienna, became as a neurologist, and started his writings in 1885. And he was an affiliated professor there until 1902. He lived and worked in Vienna and had a clinic there in 1886. These dates are weird. 1938, Freud left Austria to escape the Nazis. He died in exile in the United Kingdom in 1939. And the only amazing thing that you can really take from his works, which include 26 books and several hundred logs of people, he traveled all over Europe to psychoanalyze people under his model of psychic structure comprised of the id, ego, and superego. And the interesting thing of all that I found in the reading of his works was there was only one nationality that he felt was not oppressed psychologically, and that was the Irish.
Really?
He said of all the people in Europe, the Irish were the only ones that were in complete denial of anything.
Okay.
Anything wrong in their life they could just deny. So
I was gonna. Well, that seems like a pretty easy way to do it. If you got a problem, just deny it exists.
Just deny it.
I'm an alcoholic. Well, no, you're not.
No, I'm not. I just drink a lot.
I'm a serial murderer. No, I'm not. I just meet the wrong people.
Yeah, his whole concept was based on dreams. And, he postulated the existence of the libido, a sexualized energy which mental processes and structures are invested and which generates erotic attachments and a death drive,
Wow.
the source of compulsive repetition, hate, and aggression, and your neurotic guilt. And that's why he said the Irish were great, because they just denied it. They had no guilt. I have no guilt.
No guilt, I'm drinking.
I'm drinking, baby. I got it solved.
In 1861, Arkansas seceded from the Union, and
that's right.
Beginning of the Civil War, I should say, not World War I.
Yeah. 2 weeks after Abraham Lincoln became president, Fort Sumter was fired on in April 1861, and Arkansas was one of the newer states. The western border of the U.S., part of the Louisiana Purchase, and several other states, along with Arkansas, seceded from the Union, and they played a vital role because of their, the Mississippi River is part of their border. They raised 48 infantry regiments, 20 artillery batteries, and over 20 cavalry regiments.
Wow.
And operated mostly in the Western theater of the United States during the Civil War.
Yeah. In 1882, Congress passed the Chinese Exclusion Act, which barred Chinese immigrants from the United States for 10 years. And, we had a hard time building the railroads without them, didn't we?
That's right. And it's so applicable to today because these are the laws that your president are using. The first the first act, the United States federal law, signed by Chester A. Arthur, President of the United States in 1862, May 6th. As you said, it prohibited Chinese laborers. It was built on the 1875 Page Act, which banned Chinese women from immigrating to the United States. Didn't want that, that Chinese thing going on.
Right, yeah. Didn't want to mix the races at all.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid.
For content for the audience, the act was followed by the Angel Treaty of 1880 and the revision by the Burlingame Treaty of 1868, and that they suspended the Chinese immigration. But then 10 years later, was renewed in 1892 with the Gary Act, made permanent in 1902, and the Magnuson Act of December 17, 1943. So the Immigration Nationality Act of 1952 allowed the President of the United States to have control over immigration, and Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965. So the audience now knows basically where your immigration policy is now predicated on those acts.
Well, all right.
That's how long it's been since they've done anything about immigration.
I know.
That
was the last comprehensive immigration act, I guess, banning almost everybody from the United States. So
that's right. Yeah.
All right.
Great.
All right, we got to take a break. We got to take care of the farmers, ranchers, cab drivers, truck drivers, all those folks that bring food, clothing, booze to your table. So hang on. We'll be right back right after this. 23 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. It's Monday, May 6, 2019, 39 degrees outside. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Shane and Tom on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia, and Tom Eaglehoff, your morning mayor, in the house. And, we're going through the day in history. In 1889, Shane, the Paris Exposition opened, featuring the just completed Eiffel Tower.
That was a big draw, yeah. It was the 100th anniversary of the storming of the Bastille, celebrated on the 25th of June. It was open from the 6th of May to the 31st of October, and was quite successful at its time because it had over 6.5 million visitors in just 6 months. And as you say, the big draw was the completion of the Eiffel Tower in 1889, and it still stands today.
Yep.
Remarkable piece of engineering. But the lifts, or as they say, elevators, were not open, and so people had to walk to the first platform. But that's some good exercise when you're out walking around downtown Paris anyway.
That's true. Why not? Yeah, it's good for you. Yeah, get the blood flowing and the cardio going. Good for you. Yeah. And the good news is coming down's easier than going up.
That's right.
So there you are. All right, let's see. In 1910, Britain's King Edward the Seventh died, rather. And as far as I know, I don't think he was beheaded. I don't think he was shot or guillotined, or I think he just died.
He just died and didn't reign very long. He was remarkably young, actually, for a sovereign.
Yeah.
Queen Victoria died, and he became king. He reigned the 22nd of January 1901 to the 6th of May 1910. So he got 9 years. He waited a long time, but both his father and mother, died. Now, and remember, the interesting thing about this is that Queen Victoria was married to Prince Albert of Saxon-Coburn of Gotha. And that's where the German side of the family came into play, was that romance and marriage. So,
wow.
Half the British royalty are German, or half German, half English. So,
wow.
He died during a constitutional crisis. It was resolved the following year at the Parliament Act of 1911, which restricted the power of unelected House of Lords, because up until that time, only the House was elected, and the House of Lords, of course, were inherited lands. Wow. And so there you go. So they changed their House of Lords into an elected,
body.
Yeah, there you go. So that's it.
1915, Babe Ruth of the Boston Red Sox hit the first of his 714 Major League home runs in a 4-3 loss to the New York Yankees at the Polo Ground, and quite a I would consider Ruth probably the greatest athlete ever because he completely changed the game.
Yes.
I mean, dramatically. I mean, most, he was hitting more home runs than leagues were. I mean, several teams put together were. I mean, this guy's whacking them out. And well, the other thing, too, that happened is that if they bounced into the crowd, they were also considered a home run in his day. Now it's a ground rule double, but so some of his home runs might be questionable. But yeah. And he was a great pitcher, too.
He's a great pitcher, and he can play any outfield position.
Yep.
So, he did it all, baby.
He did it all, man. So it was pretty good. Let's see. On May 6, 1937, the hydrogen-filled German dirigible Hindenburg burned and crashed in Lakehurst, New Jersey, killing 36 of the 97 people on board. Oh, the humanity.
Oh, the humanity. Mm-hmm. That's probably one of the first examples of amazing footage in the 21st century, that survived, and it's overwhelming to watch it. You just can't believe it.
Yeah, bringing it in, hydrogen filled, caught on fire, and boy, it burned quickly and crashed down. And I'm surprised everybody wasn't killed on there. When you look at the amount of fire that was going on there, it's pretty amazing.
Well, and the amazing thing is helium has better properties and it's flammable, but it's a heavier gas, and that's why they went with hydrogen.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, fortunately for them, yeah. Well, unfortunately for 16 of them, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, 1942, some 15,000 Americans and Filipinos on Corregidor surrendered to the Japanese during World War II, and that was a big defeat for us at that time.
And as we've talked about on the show with regards to Pearl Harbor and what the Japanese intention was, they needed all the necessary, fuel and commodities, food and minerals to maintain their empire. So they went south, and the Philippines was a big win for them. They took over the Corregidor in 1942, and of course Douglas MacArthur was ordered off the rock by the president then. And he went to Australia and came back.
There you go.
Because he said, I shall return.
And he did.
And he did.
Okay. All right, we got Doug Gator, pay a couple bills, and we got Fox News at the bottom of the hour. We've got Montana State News. We've got Brooke Foster weather. We've got local ads for our local people and a little rush stuff going on. So stay tuned. A lot more to come. Open lines all morning long. 522-TALK. 522-TALK, or our text line at 478-8298. We'll be back right after this. 23 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Monday, May 6, 2019, 30 degrees outside. Shane Montalban on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor in the house, and you're on the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And we've been going through the day in history here. To 1954, Roger Bannister became the first athlete to run a mile in less than 4 minutes, finishing in 3:59.4 during a track meet in Oxford, England. And the interesting thing about this, Shane, is not running the 4-minute mile, but the number of people who did it after him, because it was considered impossible for a human to run that fast. And once people found out they could do it, or someone could do it,
that's right.
That instilled everybody to train harder or do something, and more and more people started running faster than 4-minute miles.
Yeah, and he was an Olympian in 1952 in Helsinki. He broke the British record in the 1500 meters, finishing in 4th place. But the amazing thing about this guy is twofold. Number one, he's quite smart guy. He's a neurologist.
Wow.
And he's not a small guy. He's 6 foot. He was 6'2", but only weighed 154 pounds.
Wow.
So it's pretty amazing. Endurance is what makes it possible. That's number one. And as you said, there's so many people that then went on to do well. His best personal best, 800 meters, 1 minute. 50 seconds, 1,500 meters, 3 minutes, 43 seconds, and the mile, 3 minutes and 58.8 seconds. There you go.
Wow.
And he died of Parkinson's disease in 2011.
Wow. 1960, Britain's Princess Margaret married Anthony Armstrong Jones, a commoner in Westminster Abbey. They divorced in 1978, so married 18 years. That's surprising. It always surprised me that people divorce after, 18, 20 years of marriage. What's the deal?
Well, her and her sister are close, but I think this was one of those, I'm really going to bug you, sis, because she didn't marry. And she was a pretty party. She was a party girl. Let's put it that way.
Okay, so
and Queen Elizabeth was, she was, come on, Margaret, settle down, and so then she went and married someone that the Queen didn't really want her to marry her, but she'd rather marry than not be married.
I was going to say, yeah. So, well, in the '60s, you sort of had to do that. That was still back in the days when you should be married if you were going to carry on with someone, so anyway. 2001, Pope John II, during a trip to Syria, became the first pope to enter a mosque. Wow, there you go.
Well, he was a reformer and the first non-Italian pope in 600 years. So, and excuse me, and the fact that he took over the position because Pope Paul VI died only 33 days into his reign. And there was a lot of conspiracy theories about all of that. But he changed the church, it changed the world, and he freed more people than any other pope in history because the collapse of the Soviet Union was primarily his with what he accomplished in Poland. Mm-hmm. And, of course, working, with Reagan at the time and so forth, it changed a lot of stuff. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah. 2002, right-wing Dutch politician Pim Fortuyn was shot and killed in Hilversum, Netherlands.
Yeah.
You can tell it's Monday, can't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Can't talk. In 2002, Spider-Man became the first movie to make more than $100 million in its opening weekend. Yeah, your local neighborhood Spider-Man. And in 2000,
wow, and this movie that, I was just going to say the movie that's out now of Disney's, it just went over $2 trillion worldwide sales.
Yeah, only Avatar is beating it.
Yeah,
so
yeah. 300 million has got Avatar beat. Wow.
I know. Well, it probably will beat it eventually, but...
well, no wonder they pay Iger $65 million. He puts out movies like that.
Well, there you are, yeah. I'm going to have to look up what the budget was on that. Because you got about 7 A-lister stars in that movie.
It's over 200 million, yeah. I keep track of all of that because my daughter's she worked on 2 of the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, okay,
yeah, she's worked on a number of those movies. They're not cheap. They're over 200 million.
Wow. Yeah, they used to say, paying somebody $20 million was about the top drawer of money. So I don't know whether these people are saying it's better to be in the movie and get the notoriety than it is to get the big bucks. So I don't know. Because you got about 10 A-listers in there.
That's right, and half the budget normally goes to salaries, staff, and
goes
then
to
the
salaries,
other production costs. Yeah, the other 100 million for production costs.
Yeah. Well, in 2004, the final first-run episode of Friends aired on NBC, and the interesting thing about that, Shane, is once I got my Hulu, or not Hulu, my, what is it? My Nokia, or whatever that thing is that you get all the programs with.
Yeah, okay.
I binge-watched all seasons of Friends. Yeah, I did.
Did you really?
Yeah, I binge-watched all of them. And the amazing thing was how politically incorrect they were.
Oh, yeah.
About everything. I mean, it was a, you think back to something like All in the Family. I mean, Friends didn't have anything on them. That's for sure.
No.
We got to take another quick break. We'll be right back with more right after this. 12 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Monday, May 6, 2019. It is 39 degrees outside. We're looking for a high in the mid-50s today. And Shane Taubman On the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia, Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor in the house, and this is the KMMS Morning Soapbox. And 2007 conservative Nicolas Sarkozy. Nicolas Sarkozy was elected the president of France, probably the last conservative I think they elected over there. But
well, amazing story.
Yeah.
You know, he's Hungarian, born in Paris, Hungarian history, but smart man and very capable. He held very number of posts before he became president, but the most important post was in 2nd of June 2005 to March 2007, and in August of 2005 they had the riots, the unrest in France, where most of the country was burning for 2 months. And, he sent in the military because it was young Africans from Libya and Algeria, and a lot of Muslims. And, they have a real problem with minorities in the suburbs, which in most cities these minorities have taken over and the police won't go into. But the power of the magistrate in France is particularly strong. They can arrest you and your entire family.
Yeah.
And throw you in jail without a warrant or anything. The police come in. You think a FISA warrant's bad. Yeah. You just have to step in front of a magistrate in France and you're in trouble.
I was going to say, you don't want to commit a crime in France.
No,
because you're pretty well guilty until you're proven innocent, I believe.
That's right. You have to
France.
prove in any criminal case in France, you have to prove your innocence, and you are guilty until then.
Yeah, born on this date, Orson Welles was born on this date. He died in 1985, American movie actor, director, producer, writer, and arguably the greatest movie ever made, Citizen Kane.
Right.
Still today, could be arguably said it was the greatest movie ever made. So. Well,
yeah, he wrote it, he directed it, and he starred in it. And you remember what Rosebud was?
His sled.
That's right, baby.
Hey, we know this stuff.
I know we do. We know our movies.
The other name you might remember, Maximilien Robespierre.
Yeah, well, he's one of those guys that didn't quite survive the French Revolution.
Died at 36. Yeah, born on this date. So. And the other notable birth on this date, Rudolph Valentino, Italian-born American silent screen actor, born on this date in 1895, died at the age of 31, 1926.
And to this day, no one knows for sure of his sexuality.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
But he was one of the greatest action non-talk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and he didn't really make the change over to talkies.
No, and a matinee idol too. Good looks and everything. Boy, the women swooned over him, and I don't know. Those were the golden. Well, not quite the golden years of Hollywood yet, but getting close. So
it was. Yeah, that's right. It was the beginning.
All right, we got to take another quick break. The salespeople have been selling out there, so we'll be right back. 4 minutes for the top of the hour. It's a Monday, May 6, 2019, 38 degrees outside. We're kind of fluctuating back and forth between 38 and 39 here. We're looking for a high in the mid-50s today, so hopefully that will happen. And, Shane and Tobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor in the house. And, hey, I don't know if you listeners on Sunday noticed, we've added Dave Ramsey to our lineup. He is on from 5 to 8. We're thinking about maybe putting him on after Handle with the Law, and having those two back to back might be a pretty good Sunday listening for you. And but we're happy to add Dave Ramsey, very popular guy. If you're not familiar with who he is, he's the guy that gets you out of debt. He's written several books on it, has all kinds of, got ways to pay off your credit cards and get debt free, and takes a lot of calls from folks around the country. So we're happy to add him. He's certainly I think he's in the top 5 of most listened to talk show hosts. So we're happy to add him to our group. And, of course, you can also hear him streaming on our website at KMMSAM.com, and also on our smartphones at AM 1450 KMMS. and you will certainly want to add those onto your listening devices. And also, we have a new way for you to get to us. we have our regular text line, which is 478-8298, and we have a text from a listener who just says agree, and who would not agree? Who would not agree with us, Shane? I mean,
That's right.
that's almost a no-brainer. But if you go to KMMS on your smartphone, if you go to AM 1450 KMMS on your smartphone, right next to the Listen Live is a button that says Message. You click on that, and you can send us an instant message that way as well. So. We're always happy to get messages from folks, and not everybody wants to be on the radio. Not everybody wants to be on the air, and this is a way that you can get into the program. Let us know what you're thinking. Doesn't have any names or anything like that unless you put your name in. Or if you want to send me your thoughts not for air, just put NFA, not for air, in front of your thing, and Shane and I will share it offline, and we'll. But if you got something that you don't want everybody to know about, but you want to make a comment about the show or us or whatever's on your mind, we'll be happy to entertain that thought as well. So. Lots going on here at KMMS. We're getting better all the time. We're live from 6 in the morning until 8 at night.
9.
So 9 at night. So.
Well, we're on till 9. That's what's important.
Well, that's true. Yeah. So all right. All right, we've got to go. We've got Fox News at the top of the hour. We've got the Montana State News, and we've got the weekday weather with Brooke Foster as well. So stay tuned, and we come back. We'll do the 4 things you need to know about Bozeman and the 5 things you need to know about everything else. So we'll be covering all of that when we return right after this. All right, welcome back, everyone. 6 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m. It is Monday, May 6, 2019, 39 degrees outside. Shane Matobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia, and Tommy Goloff, your morning mayor in the house. This is the KMMS Morning Soapbox, and, we got more land shared up from Montana officials have closed a land deal that will add about 160 acres to a wildlife management area north of Yellowstone that's known for its an abundance of elk to habitat there. Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks and the Conservation Fund announced this week that a deal had been finalized to transfer 160 acres of private land abutting the Dome Mountain Wildlife Management Area into state ownership. FWP purchased the in-holding from the Conservation Fund, which bought the land in 2018 for $550,000. It consolidates a block of public land and secures habitat for elk that migrate between the valley and Yellowstone National Park. So there you are.
Well, a safe place, even in the park.
What a deal! So
what a deal!
Plenty of elk, mule deer, all the indigenous species we have. That's right. Can just do whatever they want to do. So there you are. So let's see. The Duchess of Sussex, this just in, married Prince Harry, is in labor. So here we go.
Here we come.
Here we go. All right.
Yeah.
So we're having another royal meet. Although this is kind of the bottom feeding royals of the. Harry's never going to be king, and
no, he's not going to be king. He's just in line.
I was going to say his kids are never going to be anything other than his kids. So they'll never have to work ever. But anyway, that's the way that goes. So other things going on too is the MSU grads graduated this weekend. Shane, as you know, MSU graduated. Yeah. And I was really surprised. There were 1,667 undergraduates, but only 259 masters.
Yeah, and the fascinating thing is that the undergraduates I think, are smaller in numbers than the graduate students that are at your school, right? Like people working for doctorates and other degrees.
Well, there's 80 doctorates.
No, I'm just saying overall the total.
Oh, yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be. I don't know. I just thought there would be more people working toward a master's, and if you're graduating 1,667 with a bachelor's degree, it would seem like a third of those. Don't you think? They
can't afford it. They can't afford it. They can't afford to go back and get a master's. They're already bankrupt.
They're already tapped out on the student loan just to get the bachelor's.
Yeah, just to get the bachelor's. Yeah, they got to go to work to get a master's.
Okay. If you say so.
Well, it's a 40-year party, so $35,000 a year. That's $140,000.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Okay, yeah. Well, 259. I don't know. Would the 259 get scholarships or something? I guess that must be it. Then.
A lot of masters are predicated on scholarships.
They
really are. Yeah.
Yeah, they could be. Okay.
A lot of them research scholarships. Yeah.
Well, 163 graduated from Gallatin College. One of my Facebook friends was in one of the classes I taught, and she graduated, sent me a picture of her in her cap and gown, and very proud of her. She was married, working, going to school. Hubby had a kid as well. I mean, she was, she was a great example of, how you can do this. You can get out there and get your degree and get going somewhere.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Also, we've got a new East Main Subdivision planned. Why not? We're developing everywhere. What do we got? 2 hotels coming plus another whatever deal somewhere with office space and whatever on East Main. So let's get a couple subdivisions going out there. What the heck?
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of room. So with housing scarce in downtown Bozeman, a developer has filed plans with the city to expand a subdivision off of East Main Street. It'll be called the Parklands at Village Downtown, and it would add space for 9 new single-family homes and about 30 condominiums to the existing Village Downtown subdivision. Mike Delaney runs that. He's the owner and developer of the project.
Mm-hmm.
And the Village Downtown was initially established off the East Main Behind Town Pump in 2004, he said. If you know where that is, it's a beautiful little community back there. You go back there, and, I mean, it's really a nice little area. So after taking some time to work on other projects like Ferguson Farm, Delaney said he's ready to go back to the Village Downtown and help establish new housing. And as time goes on, the need for more housing downtown only gets greater. And I'm guessing most houses would be one story at 2,500 to 3,000 square feet with an average of 3 bedrooms. Each house would have a yard and a private garage. Prices for the houses and condos haven't been established, but I'm going to guess, just off the top of my head, they're not affordable housing. So
probably not.
I'm going to guess they're in the 300,000 to 400,000 range. So good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm sure they will sell anyway. But he's also involved in the Montana Ale Works and a bunch of other stuff. There's he's been a developer in town for a long time, and it's a massively expensive undertaking. We're already excited about it, because if it doesn't sell, you're going to be screwed. So,
well, and we're moving in now to that area because we've talked about this for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest generation is nearing completion of passing 65.
Right.
And now the baby boomer generation, bigger than that, is now moving into retirement at 65.
True.
So you need with the extended life that people have in North America, the industry is moving towards and adapting smaller space, full service, food, games, medical care, in a building.
Right, yeah.
So everybody with property and equity of value, they're not looking really necessarily to buy a condo, but they're a place to move to to be cared for.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the big move that you're going to see in industry with regards to home building. It'll be for care.
Oh yeah, no, that's for sure. But I don't know, this affordable housing thing just doesn't seem to want to go away. The city commission is going to slam it on you whether you want it or not. And I don't know how you can force somebody to build a inferior home because unless you build about 10 of them and get the price out of the first 8 to build 2.
Yeah, exactly.
You're almost going to have to overprice them. But I don't know. It just seems odd to me that if you have a subdivision, for example, let's say you got a 30 home subdivision and maybe 25 of them are going to be regular homes and 5 are going to be affordable housing. Okay. So,
yeah, exactly.
So what does the developer do? Well, the developer puts in all the streets, all the electricity, all the sewer, all the water, and then charges an impact fee on top of that to the homeowner.
To the homeowner, like the price is not going to go up on the house. Right.
It would seem to me like the usage cost of the sewer and water that you pay each month would, pay for the impact of that on the community, because, the cost of it's already been taken into account by the developer.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So
it's a real harsh reality for people to come to terms with when they're trying to make that second move at the end of their life, right?
Yeah, but when you got $5 or $6 grand of impact fees on a house, if you took that off, you might be able to get into affordable housing. Instead of 300 grand, you might have 240, or something like that. So I don't know. I don't know what their thinking is, but whenever you talk about affordable housing, A, who gets it? B, what if they get a raise and they're no longer in poverty? Who
gets it? I like that. Who gets it?
And they sell it, they don't make anything on it. So why even invest in the house in the first place if you can't sell it for more than you got, so that you can move up into another home?
Well, and some of these full care homes that you're paying $500,000 to $1 million to move into, depending on how exclusive it is.
Yeah,
a lot of them take it back when you pass.
Sure.
It's back in their hands. Excuse me, to sell to someone else. So it isn't even an investment.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It's just a glorified hotel.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Might as well buy a ticket. Might as well buy a suite on a ship and travel the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, plenty to eat.
Yeah. I was going to say, at $30 a night, you can stay in a hotel for $900 a month, and you get room service and shuttle service downtown and whatever.
That's $12 grand a year. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and you get housekeeping. You don't have to worry about the laundry, all that stuff. So you're set, man. So I don't know.
Exactly.
Anyway, all right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back right after these important words. 20 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m., it is Monday, May 6th, 2019, 40 degrees outside. We're looking for a high in the mid-50s today. Shane Matobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia, and we've been chatting about the growth of Bozeman, yes, which is we got 2 new hotels coming in. We've got another building planned out on East Main. We've got a shopping or a subdivision planned out on East Main, and boy, it's going gangbusters, I think, here, Shane. And,
it is. And props out to the people of Gallatin Valley. I mean, we talk about all the taxes they pay and the cost of living and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And yet, Big Gallatin Valley raised $1.3 million from the people of Bozeman. I mean, it's incredible how giving Americans are, how giving they are of what they have.
Yeah, the Give Big Gallatin Valley, they raised $1.3 million for nonprofits in the area, and that is sometimes sorely needed. But it is nice that you have a group that can go out and do this and put it all together and get get that going. And so it's just a great deal to see that kind of, well, particularly right after taxes.
Oh yeah.
You think,
Well, and it's like politics are local. Well, so are nonprofits, that are local, like food banks and everything. You actually see the money do work and do good.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's what's so remarkable about your country. I mean, people are philanthropic, whether they're wealthy or poor, and it's just a great character of the American people. So props out to everyone in the Gallatin Valley.
Amen to that. Yeah. Yeah, the other remarkable thing, only a little more than 4,600 people donated that 1.3. That's a pretty sizable contribution per person, I think, on the average. If you would, take that into account.
Yeah, that's right. It's pretty impressive. It's like almost $1,000.
Oh yeah. Let's take a phone call. Caller, you are on the air. What's up?
Yeah, so go by, what's that place? It's on Mendenhall. It's the across from the Medical Arts Building. And there used to be trailer homes there.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that. So they shut that down. So they got it all dug up. So you go look at those huge heaping piles of nice, rich, dark
Yeah, they
soil.
do.
Okay.
And they're going to put nice, rich condos in there.
Yeah, well, the problem is, and I think you all know it, it's all over the valley. And once you put asphalt and concrete and houses on it, well, that's a bunch of waste, good old-fashioned dirt. So, welcome to Silicon Valley, man.
Yeah. Well, maybe
digging
they'll
your own grave. I'm telling the people, you're digging your own grave doing that stuff.
Well, they'll sell it. Maybe they'll sell some of it.
Well,
the top soil.
I'm just saying, where you used to have orchards and stuff like that out in Silicon Valley, it's just a rat race out there.
Yeah.
It's
8-lane highways and storefronts.
And you can't get anywhere, from what I understand.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Your $18,000 house out there is going for $18 million or $1.8 million now. But I don't see what invest in the land. At least buy your 20 acres, and then put your frickin' RV on it until you can build your own house. Yeah. That's what people used to do out here in the valley.
Well, they won't let you do that anymore. We had people in my hometown where they would build the basement first, live in the basement, and then they would save up to build the upper part of the house. And now the zoning commission and everybody doesn't want a bunch of basement dwellers living in Bozeman. Come on, what's wrong with you?
You look at all the people with the land out there. They've been out there a long time. They own the land.
Yeah.
And that's why they have it, because they can afford that house.
Mm-hmm.
And so they, those people, they own like little stinkers, or they own the Cashmans, but they all have land and they all have their house.
Right, yeah.
So the residents, all the new people, man, they're just sucking money out of them. But, it's their choice, and it's going to happen. I see it happen. It'll happen in Florida. It'll happen in Texas, California, Oregon, Washington.
Oh, yeah.
District of Criminals, Washington. But, okay.
Hey, thanks for the call.
Go, man.
All right.
Enjoy your land while you got it.
There you go. Yeah, my dad, our house was on the same land as the business. So, you'd go out the side door of the house and walk across the driveway, and you'd be in the business. So that's where we were. That's how we did it.
That's right. And you started young when you worked.
Oh, yeah. Well, we had to. There was no child labor laws then.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
So yeah, I was driving a tractor in the fields as soon as my feet would reach the pedals.
They didn't put wood blocks on them?
No, they didn't. No, they gave me a break there, I guess. But well, I was a big kid anyway, so
you grew fast.
I was going to say I was 6 feet when I went in high school, so I was at 12. So Of course, I only weighed 4 pounds, but it was okay. It worked out. Oh, geez. Well, we talked about the warming center, Shane, back when it was 25 below zero, the HRDC warming center, if you remember. And now we've got the day center offering people, homeless people, a place where they can shower, do laundry, and get cleaned up for job interviews and things like that. And they are opening for their second year, helping the homeless here. So we are kudos to them. They're at 2104 Industrial Drive. They're open Sunday through Wednesday, and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. They'll be open until September 25th. So they serviced 196 people, provided 972 showers, and had 415 loads of laundry, helped 35 people find permanent affordable housing. And this year, they anticipate serving the same number of people, about 15 to 30 per day, which is sad in this, in this area to have that many people that are homeless. But, sometimes, your job goes away or whatever. And, man, it happens pretty quickly. That's why we always suggest to people to have at least 6 months of income saved, and that's not easy to do in this expensive environment because stuff is expensive here. Housing is expensive, gas, food, everything we do here seems to have a pretty hefty price tag on it. So saving money's tough.
It is. It's not an easy thing. It takes a lot of discipline.
It really does. Yeah, you've got to really be. I know when my wife and I got here, we the expense of us moving here and everything, we had a pretty sizable debt, and we cut everything, boy. We cut the cable, we cut the newspaper, we used candles, we read, no TV, no cable, watch what was out of the air, and we were able to retire debt pretty quickly. As I've always said, if you'll live a short period of time like most people won't, you can live the rest of your life like most people can't. So there you are. All right.
Best quote on the radio, buddy.
That's a quote, man. Take it to the bank. All right, Shane, I'll be back with more. We've still got 5 things you need to know coming up, so we'll take care of that. Open lines today, no guests, so 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. If you want to be a big part of the broadcast, or you can text us at 478-8298, and we'll be back. 23 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Monday, May 6th, 2019, 40 degrees outside. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Shane and Tom on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor in the house, and you're listening to the KMMS Morning Soapbox. And let's take some phone calls. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255 if you want to be a part of the big broadcast today. So, caller, you're on the Morning Soapbox. What's up?
Good morning, Tom, Shane. I wanted to toss something out there. I'm about the same age as you, Tom, and, I've been here for over 40 years, and
wow.
Things, yes, have changed. One of the biggest things I think people don't realize is the phenomenal growth of our country population-wise. We have grown a lot. And, they talk about the Gallatin Valley, this, that, and the other thing. I don't know if we've actually kept up with that growth, total Montana versus the rest of the nation. But people are willing to come here and give up a lot for quality of life. They always have, and it's changed over the years. When people came here long ago, they came for, fishing and hunting and, hiking and all that kind of stuff. And then they started coming here as a safe place to live, and then you throw in the internet and all this other stuff. And that is going to continue. There's a couple of misnomers. They keep talking about affordable housing. There will never be any such thing in this valley, I don't believe. It'll be subsidized housing, but not affordable. And that is trickling over into Park County as well. And, of course, Belgrade's getting out of sight, and Manhattan will grow. But I want to give I'm not into real estate. I'm not a developer. I want to throw out a solution there. Should maybe one of your listeners be into this? Why not go south of Logan, up on that huge bench out there, and grab 2 or 3 sections out there and build like 4,000 or 5,000 lots for maybe module homes and things like that. You'll have to put in schools and everything else, but that would be ideal for service people. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Oh, good suggestion, though. If the county will let you do that, I don't know if they'll let you put a mobile home on a lot anymore in the county.
Well, there's plenty of water. That's.
Oh no, I know. There's no problem doing it. I just I think they're. I don't know. I'll have to check with the city or the counties and see if that's permissible or not.
Okay, and one other thing I almost forgot about very quickly, totally different, is, we don't have to have all these people getting together and having these big days, but everybody just needs to get out and pick up trash. And that includes these contractors around these, these new building sites and stuff. It's just horrid. And, we want to keep quality of life, and that's part of it, too. Thank you so much.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, the thing about modular housing that you might want to consider, and the reason the county is not interested in it, is they don't generate any revenue from them because they're pre-built. Mm-hmm. So they meet all the standards of the county. They don't have it. There's no need for inspections. All the fees they collect to have something built don't exist in a modular home.
Yeah, well, that'd be true.
So there you go.
I think they'll still come out and inspect it more likely.
But you know what I'm talking about.
No, I do. Yeah, no, I do. Yeah, they're built for certain areas of the country, and that's they're built to code, and that's how they sell them. They have to be. That's right. They have to be up to code. So
there's no permitting that you have to pay for to do it or anything. You just bring it in, set it down, hook up what you need, and away you go. But I think that's, it gets back to this whole thing we've talked about, how, commissions have settled into the non-responsibility of infrastructure because they don't want to cover the cost. Well, if it's a shared cost for infrastructure, houses would be less.
Yeah. Well, it is. Yeah. Because as we mentioned earlier, the developer puts in all the streets, curbs, sidewalks, puts in the electrical, puts in the sewer, puts in the water. And, all that is paid for before any impact fees is, I don't know where the impact is. It's already paid for,
Well, and so they collect all these, property taxes, supposedly for schools and to, improve things or expand this kind of infrastructure. But now they don't have that cost and they still collect all the taxes.
Yeah. No, I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I don't either, but it's a good deal.
Yeah, it's a good deal for them.
That's what it is. It's a good deal.
All right, we'll be right back. We got to take a quick break. Stay tuned. 14 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Monday, May 6, 2019, 40 degrees outside. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And we've got some texts we got to get to here, Shane. So first one's directed to you. Shane, those aren't fees. Call it what it is, taxes. There you go.
Exactly.
Let's see. My bet is the country would not like, or the county would not like the idea of a few thousand modular home units out there because it would be seen as economic segregation.
Ooh.
Yeah, there you go. And let's see, Swiss Army knives of business and politics. Are we talking about Wenger or Victorinox? which knife brand are we talking about? I just typed back whichever one of those two is the best.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we are. So thanks for the text messages. We appreciate that very much. And 522-TALK is the number. If you want to be a part of the big broadcast, we'll be happy to entertain your thoughts, comments, criticism, complaints, whatever there is out there. Hey, we're thick-skinned, so go for it. Well, the other things we've got to talk about, the 5 things you need to know right now, of course, is Trump says Mueller shouldn't testify before Congress. I have mixed feelings about that. For one, I think it's going to be another nail in the Democrats' coffin if he does. And, I think they're at a last Hail Mary to decide if he's going to blow the whistle or not. And, the thing is done. It's over. It's over. It's completed. So, I don't know what he's going to bring to the table that isn't already there. And, of course, they want the redacted report and all of that. So, so I don't know.
I think Americans know that they can all go to the Department of Justice in the SCIF room and read it.
Yeah.
They're playing people for being uninformed. And in this age of Trump, the one thing he has done has made people more aware and more involved in what's going on. And people understand things. These Democrats, they just haven't caught up to the 21st century.
Yeah. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Call, you're on the air. What's going on?
How you guys doing?
Good.
Good. This is Aaron. I got a boat.
You got a boat?
I got a boat.
All right.
Went out on the lake this weekend. It was pretty fun.
Okay. Got 2 oars? Got 2 oars with it?
No, it come with a motor.
Oh, it's a motorboat.
Oh, it's a motorboat. It's a motorboat.
Inboard or outboard?
Outboard. We're going to do some walleye fishing this year.
All right.
Walleye.
There you go. Yeah. Well, good for you.
So it's going to be a good time. Yeah, it was that Trump tax cut that afforded me that, and I just wanted to say thank you to the people that did vote for Trump in this county.
All right.
And I want to rub it into all the people that didn't vote for Trump.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to say is I think Congress is better served investigating the shenanigans at the Kentucky Derby than Trump.
Well, yeah.
That's a bizarre one.
What a deal that was, huh?
Well, it's almost like they're trying to control the amount of Triple Crown winners they have.
Well, yeah.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
But another thing I wanted to say is they need to clean up that mess over there at Belgrade where that guy got hit by a truck. That's kind of nasty on the interstate there. They had a fire truck. I'm sure they could have
sprayed it off.
Yeah, and it's somebody needs to get a hold of whoever's in charge of that.
Yeah. Well,
have a little word with them.
Yeah. Well, being a federal highway, of course, that would be the feds, and I'm not sure where to go with that. But
we should impeach Pelosi for not cleaning that up.
That's it. Yeah, it's her fault. It's her fault.
It's her.
All right, you guys be good.
All right, thanks, Aaron. Hey, enjoy the boat.
Bye-bye.
All right, take it easy. All right, we'll be right back right after this. All right, welcome back, everyone. 5 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Monday, May 6, 2019, 40 degrees outside. We got a caller patiently waiting. The Shane is brainwashing, I'm sure. So let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you are on the air. What's up?
Hi, Tom and Shane. It's Paul.
How you doing, Paul?
Good. The comment that you got off the text line about
economic segregation.
Right. That's been going on as long as I've been here, and that dates back to 1944. People, we used to have mobile home parks in and out of Bozeman. And
we did, yeah.
Places around the county. Most of them, not all, but most of them are gone because of this attitude. We can't have those things around. I do not get people's thinking, because now the way people are handling that problem, they can't afford to buy a house and live in Bozeman. They go to Belgrade, and they go to Manhattan, they go to Three Forks. And now we got people living in Townsend and Whitehall and other places and driving to their jobs.
Yeah. Well, I know a younger couple that moved into the one across from Smith's there, and while their house was being built, they lived there and saved, and got their down payment together, had their house built, and it was economical for them to live there while they were waiting for the house to be built.
Yeah, a lot of people in my generation started out in a mobile home.
Sure.
My wife and I lived our first five years. First year and a half in an apartment. Then we, if you can believe this, we had an apartment on 402 South Bozeman that was a living room, bedroom, a kitchen / dining with available laundry downstairs, and it was one of three in an old house.
Yeah.
And for the first few months, we paid $35 a month. Then it went to $55.
Wow, yeah. Those were the days, huh?
Yeah. Then we bought a trailer, 12 by 60, and lived in that for 5 years. Yeah. By that time, we finally had the money to make a down payment, buy a house.
Yeah. Well, the down payment's the biggest challenge for most people, is to come up with that 20% or whatever, if a VA loan, you don't have to, but you're going to pay a couple percent more in the interest rate. But I agree with you. It's tough here. This is not a cheap place to live. That's for sure. It really isn't. And everybody points to, well, we've got to have a place for teachers, firemen, and the service people and things like that. And I remember when they closed Bridger trailer park out there and never developed it like they said they were going to.
Right.
And all those poor people, I remember them testifying at the commission meetings, about, hey, I don't have any place to go. My trailer's paid for. I don't have a house payment. We're driving an older car, and what am I supposed to do? And, the commission didn't have much of an answer for them other than get out.
And now the city's got more parks than they can take care of.
Well, that's the other part, that you put up a subdivision, you got to insist on parks, but there's no plan to take care of them. So how are you going to take care of them? Well, we'll just add $200 a year onto it, and you guys will vote that in for sure because you don't want ratty parks, I'm sure. So there you go. And we got a high school to pay for, we got a safety building to pay for, and we got parks to pay for. So what's the problem? Affordable housing? No sweat.
Right, yeah. Every time they come up with another plan, I want to stand on a rooftop somewhere and scream, cut the rules, you idiots.
Well, so what was it? What's the movie where the guy on TV said, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Is that broadcast news or I don't remember what it was, but and everybody's going to the window and they're opening the window and screaming out in the street. So maybe we should do that. Maybe we should go out of your storefront right now on Main Street, yell at the top of your lungs, I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. All right. Hey, thanks, Paul.
You bet.
All right, take care. All right, we got to duck out or pay a couple bills, and we got Fox News at the top of the hour. We've got Montana State News, got Brett Foster with the weather, and open lines coming up next. We'll finish the 5 things you need to know, and anything you guys want to talk about. It's open lines today, so have at it. We'll be happy to entertain any thoughts you have, and we'll be right back with more interesting and engaging conversation. Informative, very informative. Yeah. Oh, man. The information, I mean, you got to be a sponge to get all our stuff. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. It is 6 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m. It's Monday, May 6, 2019, 41 degrees outside. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Shane and Tobin on the line with us from Vancouver, British Columbia. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor, in the house. And, I guess the big news of the day, the stock market's taking a hit, Shane, because of the tariff talks between China and Trump. Trump is saying, hey, this has been going on long enough, guys. Let's get this done, or otherwise by Friday you're going to be paying big bucks in tariffs to do business with the most affluent customers on the planet.
That's right. And they consume 25% of everything produced on the planet.
Yes.
So before we touch on North American markets, let's just look at what's going on in Asia overnight. So the Nike is down 48 points. Shanghai, 171. The Hong Kong, 300, 228. Shanghai, 50, 140, and everything from Korea to across Asia. Every market in Asia is down because this is a canary in the mine, and it's important because we've talked about this and warned people for a year, several years, you and I especially, because what we've told everybody is that because of population demographics, over half the population in China is now over 65, because of the fact that they're in a fascist state-run government, they've never had a recession or depression. And because of efforts from quantum easing to what now is tariff talks, with your president wanted redirecting trade routes, it's a major play. So the Dow's down 300, 26,200. S&P 500 is down 34, NASDAQ 118. Europe is just moderate. They're in between. So there's nothing really mentionable there. the interesting thing is a side market. Crude oil, because of this, and Brent's at 70, and crude oil in the U.S. is 61. So that gives you a break on summer gasoline. Now the U.S. average is $2 and around $2.09 a barrel. Government bonds are slipping everywhere. Even the U.S., the 10-year is 2.49, and the 30 years dropped to 2.89, 2.89%. And the currency exchange rates, again, the euro is dropping again. The British pound has dropped off from breaking 130, which is huge. Our Canadian dollars, of course, it's up a little to 134 from 135. Anyway, the bottom line to all this are these Trump tariffs, and he's told them he's got to hold the line. You and I know that, Tom. And
he does. Like it or not, is there going to be some pain for some segments of American economy? Absolutely. Yes. But still, in all, what's the alternative? Record imbalance of trade.
Exactly.
That we all still pay.
Yeah, and all the information technology they steal.
Right.
And all the technology they steal, and the patents they ignore, and the rules they break. He's got to hold the line on this, because it's not about today; it's 50 years from now.
Yeah. Well, I don't think the tariff items are the problem. It's the intellectual property. That's where they really don't want to give up stealing our stuff. Right. And I don't know how else you're going to get them to come and even consider that without some pain to them.
Well, I think your president's going to look at it two ways. I think he'll say, well, move to India because they have intellectual property agreements with India now.
Right, yeah.
Or, and I'll give you a small tax benefit for that, but big tax benefit you get if you come home.
Yeah.
So all the Chinese are doing is shooting themselves in the foot, because they're just, all these manufacturing facilities they have over there are 20 to 30 years old now. I mean, they're all behind. They're outdated, and I don't see people rebuilding. I don't see Walmart rebuilding over there, and I don't see the major players that are left as far as retail stores.
Well, yeah. Well, specifically not when you have Alibaba over there too. That's that's the Amazon of China, and so they're not gonna back off on anything there. They'll just supply the China need with less stuff. American stuff, and as we've talked about in the past, the Chinese want our stuff, not Chinese stuff.
Exactly, and one of the things is, to give you an example, everyone uses one, is a toilet cleaner. The brush.
Yeah.
And you pay $1.98 from China, and it breaks the first time you're too hard on it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you go buy another one for $1.98.
Yeah.
The thing is, Americans have realized the products, from China aren't that reliable. Even the socks you buy, you're finding you're buying a bag of socks every year because they wear out.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, years ago when we were growing up, Shane, anything that said made in Japan was just junk. It was trash. I mean, anything that had made in Japan stamped on it was just crap.
Exactly. There's very little innovation, very little imagination, unfortunately, in these countries. And regrettably, the problem that the Chinese have is this 400 million middle-class group of people who aren't buying their own products.
Yeah.
So there you go. They're in China's in deep problems with right now, and I think Trump and his people see it. I think they have a clear understanding, and he's got a good group of people that
yeah.
And all Secretary of Treasury. These guys, Secretary of Trade. They're smart guys. They did not fall off a turnip truck.
No, they did not. From a tweet by the president, for 10 months, China has been paying tariffs to the U.S. of 25% on $50 billion of high tech and 10% on $200 billion of other goods. These payments are partially responsible for our great economic results. The 10% will go to 25% on Friday. $325 billion is what the expected take would be from that. And, a lot of people think, well, that tariff's going to be added on to the price of our goods and services. And in some cases it may, in some cases the manufacturer may eat it or the distributor may eat it. So,
well, the profit margin they're generating right now is so great they won't. But what's really scary is what Biden said about China.
Yeah.
I mean, how out of touch is he? And no wonder America lost so many jobs in manufacturing facilities while he was vice president.
Yeah.
It's like he doesn't even understand what China's up to. Wow.
Yeah. No, I don't think he does. Let's go. Let's go to the phones. 522 Talk is the number. Caller, you on the air. What's going on?
Oh, I just thought of something funny to say about all this spy stuff with China.
Sure.
With their getting our information. There was a movie a number of years back with Richard Burton, Where Eagles Dare.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and they were, his friends were talking with him, and maybe it was one of the last scenes where, they had the guns at the table and they had the Germans there, and we thought you were so and so, and he said, no, I was a spy, and I was feeding you false, outdated, and useless information, which is all kind of redundant. And I was thinking, we need to somehow load that kind of stuff into the computers that the kids are stealing it off of in our universities, and let them have at it.
Yeah, we need a whole bunch of games that don't work.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, thanks for the call.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. 522 Talk is the number. Caller, thanks for waiting. You're on the air. What's going on? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello. I don't want to change the subject or anything, but I just want to thank everyone in the community who has gone along the highways and cleaned up everything that they found in the ditch along the highway and everything. There's just been sacks and sacks from four corners into town. And
I saw that this morning. I saw that this morning coming into town. Yes.
I did it for 4 years in a row, and it's such a rewarding thing to do. But I just think that we need to thank them every year, the ones who get out there and do it. It's just such a good thing to do to keep our community so beautiful.
Oh,
and thank you very much.
Well, thanks for the call. Yeah, we appreciate it. Yeah, I've been out there and done that with the groups that I belong to. We go out there, and I remember the only thing I didn't like about it is reach down to pick up something and there's a snake there zipping off. And I hate snakes, man. I hate snakes. I mean, wasn't a rattlesnake or anything, but I don't care. There's
another Indiana Jones guy.
I know I am, man. There's no earthly reason on earth for there to be snakes at all. So God. So I'm not a snake guy at all.
Well, the thing about trade that's so fascinating is that the situation that exists with the United States and what your president's talking to is a massive amount of investment that is now coming to your country. And that's another thing that scares China, because China knows if things in the U.S. start evolving quickly, we'll be back to making socks again here.
Well, I think that's entirely possible. We had another jobs report come out that's outstanding, huge. Right? Yeah. But also the employment participation hasn't moved much.
No.
And I was doing some research on that, and I think one of the reasons that we're doing better, and this will relate to what you're talking about, is that about 30 states and I don't know how many municipalities raise their minimum wage. Mm-hmm. And as we know, when you raise the minimum wage, other wages go up as well, because Correct. You're not going to sit there and say, hey, look over there. Hey, what about me? What am I, chopped liver? No.
Exactly.
I get a little taste of this, beak business, And I think that's part of it, that our wages are going up, partly because of law and partly because of competition. Taco John's closed here temporarily because they couldn't find employees here in Bozeman. And I know that I think Perkins at one time reduced their hours because they couldn't find employees to work there. And that's an issue. And, you can only pay them what the business will allow.
Yes, that's right.
You
Yeah.
know?
Every business has a breakdown of its operating costs,
Sure,
And
yeah.
the first one they look at is labor, and the second one is cost to rent or pay the mortgage.
Yeah.
And food costs are the third one, and down the road.
Right.
So it's a matter of understanding running a business, which again I don't think Joe Biden has any clue about.
Well, never having done it.
Well, it was like last night I watched Levin, and he had this woman on about healthcare and the costs involved. And I'm just reticent about the fact that you and I are so far ahead of the ball in all this, informing our listeners about, the human health services deal with insurance companies and the payouts and everything. And so it's really important that people are given the opportunity from a couple of old guys like you and me to get a different perspective. And the perspective here is once the economy starts expanding like it is, supply and demand, in capital, capitalist society take over. And that's in labor, food costs, rents, everything.
Well, the other thing we're talking about, if our labor participation rate is stagnant, then why do we have the lowest unemployment in 50 years, 5 decades? It's mostly because the people who are working are making more money, and they're also being more productive in some cases because of automation and other things. So all these things contribute. As I've said many times, it used to be 40 guys with shovels would dig a basement for a house, and now a guy on a backhoe does it in half an hour. There you are. So, all right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. We got some text messages to get to and all of that, so stay tuned. It is 23 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m., Monday, May 6, 2019, 41 degrees outside. Tom Eagleoff, Shane Talbot here, the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And we got a caller waiting on the line, Shane, so let's take a phone call. Caller, you on the air. What's up?
Well, here's another insider who disagrees with you two, quote, two old guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if Trump has called you two guys, but on April 15th, Trump called Jimmy Carter to ask him about his views on China, and Carter went off on a rant about how much money the U.S. has wasted on wars in its 242-year history. The U.S., he said, has been at peace only 16 years and has spent at least $3 trillion on wars itself. And he said to Trump that China has been investing in infrastructure, contrary to what you guys are thinking. And since
infrastructure in China or infrastructure in America?
In China, but now that I think about it, they also are getting friends by investing in infrastructure in other countries. And he said that since 1979 in Vietnam, China has not been investing in any way in wars. So the United States, meanwhile, has trying to overthrow and do regime change in many countries, the ones that look like they're more right-wing. And then another thing that came up in the article I was just reading is that in a 1917 Pew poll, or 2017 Pew poll, 30 nations look at the United States as, quote, a major threat when you ask the people. And most nations think that of the countries, the United States is the greatest threat to world peace. So I think you guys have been outvoted by the people's choice.
Well, I would just say this. I really don't care a rodent's behind what other people in other countries think of the United States. It means nothing.
Well, okay, but
I mean, it doesn't. What are we supposed to do? If another country doesn't like us, what are we supposed to do? Say, oh my God, another country doesn't like us. Oh, what do we do? Let's send them money. Let's send them everything they need because we're so generous. We're such a compassionate nation. Oh, my God.
Well, all right. It doesn't mean that you have the true view, and there are a bunch of little rats that are wrong.
No, I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm saying that they, in many cases, how many of these countries actually have free press? To know the real situation that's going on in their country. Look at Venezuela. I mean, come on.
Look at Denmark and Finland.
Well, Denmark's on the verge of collapse.
Well, then how come it's those two countries are rated the two that the people choose as the happiest nations in the world?
Well, they may be the happiest nation in the world, but they're also the most taxed nation in the world, and they're also the nations that were the elite get the free education, and the elite get the nice apartments, and the elite get the most of the benefits. Now they may be happy paying all those taxes because that's all they know. Now, and if the government is going to take care of them, they're still paying for it. So, is that what you want us to do here? Do you want to take home 10% of your pay and everything be free, and you're under the thumb of the government? Is that what you want?
No, not particularly. I'm not. I've avoided taxes the best I could because. Well,
we all do.
I didn't want to pump any money into the war machine, so
I don't want to pop any money into the waste.
Well, both of us have kept away from being money pumpers into the tax system.
Well, I'd say 126 poverty programs. We've never had less than 100 in 10 years. So I would say you got to tell me that some of those programs couldn't be consolidated. They don't overlap. Every one of them's got somebody that's making six figures running it. That seems like a bigger waste to me than defense.
And the fact that 87% of the taxes in your country are paid by the upper 10%. 49% of people in your country don't even pay taxes.
There we are.
Well, yeah, that's become an old saw. But they have so much more to give out. So you give a few $1 million in taxes, and you have $100 million left. What difference does it make? It's a drop in the bucket to somebody that has $200-300 million.
Gotta go, I'm sorry, Daniel. Sorry, Daniel. Daniel, you're sounding more and more like a victim.
Well, you sound more and more friendly.
23 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Monday, May 6, 2019, 42 degrees outside. Looking for a high in the mid-50s today. And Shane Matavin on the line from Vancouver, British Columbia. Tom Eaglehoff, your morning mayor, in the house. And you were saying something as we were going off the air there. We had to take a break, and you were watching your clock.
I was so excited to report this because trading economics, which we use with reference to the markets and around the world, they have a study they continue doing monthly, and wages in the United States increased. The hourly rate now in the U.S. is $23.24 in March from $23.18 an hour in February of 2019, meaning reaching an all-time high of $23.24. Now that's a 2% increase month over month.
Right.
Which means that if that continues, that wages could go up 20% this year. Well, you see a 20% increase in wages this year. That's a huge economic wedge.
Well, that's pretty significant. I think part of it, the tax cuts were part of it. Not everybody got a big break, but as Aaron got a boat, so there you go. So. Or helped by a boat, I guess, or whatever. But yeah, I think take a little more home in your paycheck, and also the increase in wages directly from many states and many cities passing this $15 minimum wage, and as one of our texters points out here in a minute, I'll tell you that it's pretty hard to live here without at least $15 an hour.
That's right.
That's pretty much the bare minimum you got to make if you're a single person.
Well, and the remarkable thing is in 1964, the hourly wage was averaged $11.20.
Mm-hmm.
And, that was enough for a family to live on.
Yeah. Well, but also you lived without a cell phone, you lived without cable TV, exactly. You lived without heated cup holders, air conditioning, and a motorized lawnmower. So,
that's right. Yeah.
So there you are.
Yeah.
Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you on the air. What's going on?
Yeah, just a couple thoughts.
Sure.
So speaking like back in the day with my grandpa and stuff, a lot of my grandparents and family that were older all told me that most of the time the guy was the only one that worked back in the day, and the woman was at home hanging out with the kids.
That's true.
So
yeah.
I think it's interesting, and I'm not ripping on Trump, how they say that, we got the most women in the workforce in the entire history of the United States. And I'm like, well, is it really better that we actually have more women? I can understand like self-indulgence and women want to be independent nowadays, but
well, they may want a career too, so nothing wrong with that. But yeah, no, I hear you. Go ahead.
And then the other thing was too, last time I did my taxes, which was not this year but last year, they said, oh yeah, the Obama tax is going to be taken off and you'll get your full tax return. I'm a construction worker. Usually I get about $1,200 a tax return, whatever, around there.
Sure.
And they're like, but the last 3 years in a row, they took 700, 900, and then this year they took another 700. And they told me, well, the cheapest plan you could have had was the government plan, which was $556 a month.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, I would rather eat than have your lousy health insurance. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's about it. So.
Okay. No problem. Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah. Yeah. When we talk about health insurance, we're not talking about health care, as we talk about many times. We're talking about insurance that I just have a real hard time with the government being in charge of my health insurance.
That's right.
As the only option out there.
And they're trying to strangle the insurance industry. I mean, they saved it with the Affordable Care Act, because we say it's the Affordable Insurance Act, but they're strangling the industry by not letting them compete. If they let them compete, people would be able to pick the kind of plan they wanted because they'd offer them.
Yeah. Well, that's why I say competition is the biggest reason that prices are where they are.
That's right. There is no competition.
Well, you get I bought a 31-inch glass screen TV back probably 15 years ago for $700 or $800. Now I can get a 60-inch for that, flat screen and a better TV. So what's the deal?
Exactly.
All right. Let's take another call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you are on the air. What's going on?
Hey, morning, Righteous Burgermeister. How you doing?
All right, man.
Hey, Ambassador Shane. How you doing? Hey, Tom, I think a lot of people don't like snakes. That's why the Don't Tread on Me slogan was so effective.
That's right.
When you're talking about it back in the day when everything was made in Japan or made in Taiwan, is that what we refer to as the good old days?
Yeah, right.
Hey, I just had one quick sidebar to the conversation this morning, Tom. All the theft that China has promulgated on us through, theft of intellectual property, all the things that they've shipped over here that contain contaminants, toxic materials like mercury, lead, cadmium, selenium. If we were to charge them fees for everything they've already done, I don't think paying for the border wall would be any problem.
Well, probably not,
so that's pretty costly, especially the interest on the intellectual property, and it's still ongoing. And the last thing, now China's trying to create this monopoly on 5G technology, and they've got their own spyware installed on that technology. And I just think that's just something everybody needs to be aware of.
Yeah, Germany's
done on that front too, because as there's this race for development of new technology, we've got to really be cautious that we're not making ourselves vulnerable to a foreign interest. Because there are a lot of problems associated with that because people are hell-bent, on progress and technology.
Mm.
But some things I think needed to be proceeded with caution on, and that would be one of them. And that's my comments for today.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Yeah, Germany's jumping into 5G with Huawei, full force, both feet.
Yes, that's right.
I agree with our caller there that boy, I have a really hard time trusting China when it comes to communication, particularly. I mean,
well, especially when it's so restrictive in their own country.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, they've pretty well perfected how to keep you from talking to somebody if they don't want you to.
Yeah, and they can thank Google for that, right?
Yeah. Let's take a break here. We'll be right back. 11 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Monday, May 6, 2019, 44 degrees outside, looking for a high in the mid-50s today. Shane Matavin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Tom Eagle off your morning mayor in the house, and this is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And we went a little long on the phone calls and whatever, so we're going to take a break here in a short couple of minutes here again, but... From our text line, let's see. Government wasn't running a surplus. Aaron's boat was paid by borrowing, probably from China. Our kids get the bill for his boat loan. There you go. I like that one. What do you think, Shane?
Well, the given here is China has not increased their, the ownership of U.S. debt. It's $1.1 trillion.
Yeah.
The foreign ownership of debt has not increased. It's actually dropped. It's at $6.3 trillion. So, got it wrong. China's not paying for Newton.
Not paying for Aaron's boat, huh?
No.
Okay. Before women enter the workforce, one income is expected to provide for a full family. Now that women are in the workforce, the economy was happy to work it so that two incomes are required to provide for one family. And I would say. One person could provide for a family if you don't want cable TV and cell phones and Xboxes and, the heated cup holders in the car and, a bunch of other stuff that.
What do we talk about? A managed lifestyle, right?
That's it. Managed lifestyle will do it. From comments about Daniel Peterson calling. Daniel is a socialist, rants against all America, yet lives here. And let's see, measuring.
What? I just want to make a comment to Daniel's phone call.
Yeah.
Daniel, why don't you call in and tell us that you're happy the United States is backing a socialist in Venezuela to take over? I mean, the guy's an avowed socialist, and the Democrats haven't even. I think it's a hidden treasure for the. I think the Democrats are hiding this as a hidden treasure when something does happen. Yeah. Oh yeah, when he takes over, they all go, "Well, thanks, Trump. You back to socialist."
There you go. Measuring happiness is a fool's errand. The metrics they use are made up and not universal to everyone. Everyone measured happiness differently.
Correct.
Let's see. Try calling those countries, Daniel, and help them out. There are those that don't want to work and want everything free. If they were forced to work, the unemployment rate would be cut even further.
That's true.
Disagree a little calling. I think Biden knows exactly what's going on with China, manipulating currency and stealing our stuff. Didn't he get the Chai Comstos to help him and his son start $1 billion investment company and some other stuff over there? I'm sure
Absolutely.
You guys know a lot more about it than I do. And Shane, if you want to go into that when we come back.
Okay.
Well,
that'd be great.
For people that don't know about the Biden and his son and the China deals. We'll talk about it right after this. 2.5 minutes for the top of the hour. Running out of time here, Shane.
Yeah, we are there, buddy. 30 seconds.
Well, we got a couple. I'll try to get a couple more tweets in. The old school peeps will have to learn this important lesson in Bozeman. Entry-level job has to pay $15 an hour. Even crackheads have to afford a basic living. In Bozeman, everything less is a joke. Adjust your prices accordingly. If your food is good, these Bozeman trust funders will buy it. Tom, stay out of D.C. It's full of snakes. Okay, I'll do that. For the love of all that is good and holy, will someone tell our stable genius president that Americans pay tariffs? Well, not in every case, but in some cases they do. So, hey, we talked earlier, a little pain. There you go. So, let's see. Let's say average income, and not just ask it to provide for minimal rent. But the opportunity to buy a house in Bozeman now is one income just fine. Well, probably not if you're going to do that. So, is the spending power of the dollar less today than from the turn of the 20th century? That's a tough one.
Yes, of course it is. But there's inflation, so it makes it equal.
It will balance out.
That's right.
In the long run. So
I got to say goodbye there, Mayor. And we'll talk about Hunter Biden and Boha Harvest RST.
Yeah.
And everybody be happy and be safe and have a great day out there. It's the first day of the week, so enjoy oneself.
Amen. Goodbye. Thanks, Shane. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for the calls, and thanks for the input and everything. Hey, all views are welcome here. We might not always agree with you, but we're never going to insult you or be mean to you or be nasty to you. So by all means, text us, call us, whatever it takes. Hey, don't forget our app, AM 1450 KMMS. You can get us, you can message us directly from that app. There's a button right next to the Listen to Us, and click that, and you can send us a text right away. It's real easy. All right, that'll wrap it up for Shane and I, and we will see you tomorrow morning, 6 a.m.